Welcome to Meta Tripping, y'all. Happy Moonday. This is the weekly for the week of August 26th, 2019. Deep contemplative start to the day, but I mean, there's been a lot of meditating going on this end so that I could keep upleveling upon the advice of Spirit. Beyond the triggers, there was a fair deal of 9D triggering last week. I have seen some things pop up in my feed from the thumbnails that were talking about like other dimensional energies that were triggering. So I go by what I channel and what comes up in the dailies, and it's been right and exact. So the 9D triggering, as Spirit helped me to understand, it was 3 days last week, and whenever that energy has come up, and we're dealing with balancing out, kind of, I guess, the duality, polarity issues with the other dimension that appears. There is adrenaline flow and impulse, and really having to deal with what it is to have power without giving into the base inclinations and the base reactivities of the lower self is the best way that I think I could describe it at the moment. So a lot of the advice that was coming through was really to utilize it, for meditation, up level past it, and really get into the kind of the goddess consciousness aspect of, or God consciousness aspect of it, as it were. So there's been a good deal of changing over with the energies, and we're familiar with this routine by now, although there are times that are more intense than others. So as we go through these, kind of rapid repeats of past cycles, and made amendments along the way and up-leveled past certain things, and we've been able to put some things to bed, so to speak, but there have still been some old haunts that, have kind of held on, and those, as we deal with these high-level energies that come through and give us an opportunity to develop ourselves at different dimensional levels while we overcome these old timelines, so that we're actually developing higher timelines and continuing to add to the higher development of the timelines that are already in the astral waiting for us at higher frequencies. As we go through that, there's like the fallout period, the little chaos. Well, it's not always a little chaos period because we were going through it, bird box season. In like the fall, winter, we were dealing with a lot of that end of things. So, when we're going through portals, we're dealing with certain dimensions and certain haunts that, kind of guard, should I say guard different levels? I don't even know if test us. I think test us is the best way to put it. And, some of these tests can be hard. And I know test comes along with an implication sometimes, like a pass or fail inclination, but the whole point here is for us to know ourselves. So when we're able to, the more we're able to come into touch with our vulnerability and be truly honest with ourselves, then we're able to identify what we truly want, what we truly believe is good for us. We're able to get in touch with that aspect of us that's willing to be truthful, as opposed to be palatable, according to whatever societal construct scripts we were embedded with at any given time, and that our forebears, our ancestors, were embedded with. So a lot is being cleared out. That Lionsgate energy, from the channeling that I did, there was ancestral, ancestral gratitude that was due. There was ancestral reconnection, love, that was due, so we can heal these links, and up level. You know what I'm saying? Like up level, our ancestors who have been, kind of trapped in lower frequencies. um, and then of course connect with those who are at higher frequencies who've been tried to reach us or tried to help us. So the work that we do on the 3D affects everything, while we're in this, while we're in a flesh suit, so to speak. It does affect everything, and consciousness is everything at the end of the day. So it's been a very trippy time on this end. Some of the things that came through for this week, it is about getting in touch with that sense of vulnerability. And sometimes when our adrenaline is jogged, and we're triggered, or oftentimes, it's very telling of where we're holding deep pain and where we need to release some things. And if we can, when we can, take control. Control is probably not the best word right now. When we can stand in our sovereignty of mind and authenticity of will, we know what we want to do. And we can actually be in touch at that point with our intuition, our wisdom. And so I think what's happening this week is really asking, after some gut checks last week, this week is really asking us, who are you? What do you want? Does this feel right? Oh, you feel like acting up. Why do you feel like acting up? You know what I'm saying? I think it's, this is the type of week that we're facing with what's coming up energetically. So 9D energy does come up again. But 9D is also very much associated with our power identity, and our ability to, I would say, transmute ourselves in situations. Spirit saying I guess it's a decent assessment. It's a decent assessment. So Spirit is, relaying like there's more to it. Obviously, there's more to it. I'm just kind of going by. I feel very spacey. I'm just kind of going by what I've been able to put together from the energies. I wasn't able to get a lot of sleep. There was a lot of high frequency energy, a lot of ringing in the ears, a lot of up leveling, not necessarily feeling, a lot of stability, but still, oddly enough, being able to, well, maybe not oddly enough, because I think when we deal with our quantum rootedness, my teasers, I don't know if my teasers and my promos are like corny steez and need to be it need to be worked on, but that tickled me. But at the end of the day, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with our quantum roots. We're healing them. We're realizing that we are, and I say realizing because I strongly believe we knew this before walking the earth, you know what I'm saying, in very original forms at one point way back when. So, the process of quantum embodiment and, these metabiological changes, both terms came through spirit. Like, so I've been working with comprehending what's going on while it's been happening, and there's been a lot of clearing in my head and, different areas of the body. A lot of clearing. Like, I've really felt pathways clearing in my head though recently. Pardon me, I may have to pause here and there because my allergies have decided to rear their head because the simulation has decided to roll out autumn a little early. It is what it is. We're used to this life, y'all. Time to get your blankets, your sweaters, and the hats you're going to be wearing around the house since regular heaters don't work like they used to. in this kind of unnatural, well, you know what I'm saying, in the unnatural cold that the simulation has rolled out. Like a couple years ago, hearing something like this, I'd have been fascinated, but at the same time, like, I don't know, about this term simulation, because the first time I heard about it, I was like, what? I don't know. Movie reference much, but at the end of the day, when you come into reality and you realize people like Sophia Stewart are like straight up shamans, straight up, oracles. She's an oracle. Clearly. Clearly. So, all right, let me focus, even as all this up-leveling energy is taking place. There were some things I wanted to cover, and I really didn't take the time to gather notes, but all in all, it can still be challenging to deal with what's coming up, but this is just a reminder. This has happened before. This has happened before multiple times, and multiple times in this particular year alone. You remember this feeling. You remember what it's like as you start to pay attention to, and that's for those of you who, may still just be working with the concepts from an intellectual level, but when you pay attention to the energy changes, your emotional body, the changes in other people, when these energies come around, and usually channelers, oracles, astrologers, various people who are more concerned with what is going on kind of on metaphysical levels, and so that's where the area of expertise is laying. Usually this is where the messages come through that a shift is coming, y'all, or there's a portal event, or that sort of thing. And then we deal with these high frequency energies, and odds are you're going to hear a lot of ringing in your ears. I even heard what sounded like mechanical music at one point. I've heard bells, like not just that ringing in the ear that's like a consistent tone, but like bells, like as if someone would was actually like ringing bells, physical ones. So I mean, and obviously I can have conversations and some other oddness, telepathic conversations, that is, some other oddness that took place last night. I'm still not totally I feel like I'm still not totally grounded at this point. I probably should have waited to record the reading until I was. But there was a light that flashed, and it was in the astral. And, one of my spirit guides kind of told me to, look away, that it wasn't time for that or what have you. I'm not sure what that means, but I did look away. And the same way kind of an aftermark, like a scorch mark is left after you're looking at a light bulb or you look at the sun, is the same way the lens of my eye held the image of what I saw in the astral, but the shadow of it. So we are going through some next level things, y'all. Like, we are changing, and I know that can be very scary. Trust and believe. Like, I'm a bit of a paradox in certain ways. I'm very open-minded, but in other ways I do seek proof and validation, and I do appreciate systems that are accurate. I guess I could be very much an indigo in that way. But the changes, y'all. I'm from a different era, okay? And clearly it's different planetary systems. So once I finally was starting to get some sort of hang of this world, at least in my mind, things began to up and change, and rapidly. So it's, it's for the best, y'all. The changes I've seen in myself, and I am a very uber compassionate person by nature, to the point where it's been largely to my detriment in certain situations. Textbook empath in many respects. And I had to kind of learn how to harden up and have boundaries. And so I was put through that path dealing with like Moon and Capricorn things. And having to open up again was very challenging. And then having to get gut checked numerous times once opening up again was very challenging. So it was like this whole process. And I've arrived at a place where I've been able to watch fear dissolve in myself and others, like just watch it as it's dissolving, like watch it, like where I can see its form, like at different dimensional levels. Like my sun is not in the sign of Virgo, but it's in like it's in the, a house of, you know what I'm saying, that deals like with Virgo energy. And so I can get really exacting with things, when I'm really interested. So long story short, we really are dealing with, multi-dimensional experiences, and there's a lot of beauty and miraculousness to it. And fear is kind of it can be useful, but at some point you have to kind of loosen your grip on it and try what feels good, but go with your gut. Remember, do what is good for you. This is, we're dealing with identity and the vulnerability to identity issues. So Chiron is freshly in Aries this year. And we dealt with a lot of Chiron and Pisces troubles. So we know that life last year. And Chiron will be in Aries for a while. So we're dealing with the deeper vulnerabilities of identity that have come generationally. And it's been hard work. But it took a long time to put people to sleep. So it takes some time to pull people out of it. So if you're growing impatient with these shifts, I do have an Ascension tool video. You can look for in the playlist recently. I can't remember what I titled it. Things like, "Are we done yet?" or whatever. But like, this is a process to an end, to a very good one, I might add. All right, and there's a synchronicity staring me in the face. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to really getting into Monday's energies. Thank you for listening. I'll time and date stamp this so you know where the reading starts if you don't feel like listening to the intro. The 7D to 9D energy is like crown chakra energy, and that 9D energy, you can look at it, it's like a Mars scorpionic type of energy at certain levels. So dealing with identity and triggers to identity and why they are triggers, like these are the sort of things that can come up. And the quantum root card, which is really like, it's like okay, so what do we do with this energy, is what I pull those cards for. And it is the first card, which is you're allowed to cry. So there is releasing that needs to take place. Anger, a lot of times, anger can mask where things need to be, where tears need to flow. So keep that in mind if that's like the response that's coming up. We do have to, obviously, to deal with this system that has kept so many of us on hamster wheels, so we don't have time to do our internal growth and knowledge of self-work. But taking the time to understand yourself today is of benefit. And the card that's coming up is the 10 of Pentacles. And the 5 of Cups is the accent. And I'm going to pull just one more. Okay, so it looks like what needs to be released is injustices, and sadness surrounding injustices. And this can have to do, it's 10 of coins. So this is a group dynamic, but typically it is a group dynamic of family, of culture, even of community. And the energy that I'm getting around the Five of Cups, there's this point that's been reached of just being tired, and it feels like the divine feminine being tired of not really not receiving her just due, and really just dealing with the BS. At the end of the day, for the justice reverse to be there with Five of Cups and the energy I felt, there's some in your face divine feminine energy that a lot I think of divine feminines are suppressing, or at least trying to transform, sublimate, avoid fully going into, so as not to hurt anybody. You have to think of how much oppression there has been on women, and then how much oppression there has been on largely marginalized women, acutely marginalized women. You know what I'm saying? So, it's women have been the target, and then you have certain groups that have been the hard body targets, where you don't often get to hear the horror stories. So when this kind of momentum of sadness builds up in a collective, things have to change. They're going to change, because our energy is our energy literally changes things. You understand what I'm saying? At astral and etheric levels, our energy changes things. And when there's a rumbling at at a primal level where the limit has been reached, there isn't, and when the victims of it see things for what they are, there isn't a lot more that can be done. There's no more trickery. There's no more fear mongering that's going to work. I think the answer for divine feminines at this point is to be wise about how you release, because I think a lot of us have to keep it together, as we have, maybe not in the exact same way, obviously. You still need a face to work with in this world. You still need some semblance of composure, and you want to be sure that you're of sound mind when you're wielding power. So I think the divine feminine energies are learning lessons that have to do with a goddess level humility, really having to summon the strength. But at this time, summoning the strength, it's not a matter of suppression. It's a matter of self-control over primal emotion, which low key is not something the patriarchy wants either, because then you just at that point, you're just not playing. You just can't play that game anymore, because that means we've gotten ourselves together on an astral level, on an etheric level, making our way, you know what I'm saying, to quantum level, true quantum level embodiment, which changes things. Y'all are already on YouTube. Go and check. It's free this month, I happen to notice in my timeline. Oh man, is it Impulse or whatever? I really don't want to attract attention. I don't know if they have bots that listen to words and it gets cued, and I don't need all that. But Impulse is a show about women who, well, I don't know if I should even ruin it. I'm not sure how much they give off in the promo, but basically, they pick a certain sort of character, as you can expect from the media, but the point is in the symbolism of what happens to that female, or what nearly happens, and what it triggers. And think on that, and think on other shows you've seen that are similar. What is it, Chambers? I need to go look at it, but it's ill. It's a Netflix show. It's a girl who got a heart transplant. I'm not going to get much into it. You'll be pleasantly surprised if you can stick with it. It's really good and suspenseful, but you're probably going to think it's one thing when it's really not. It really is more occult based. I don't want to get too far off, but what's happening today is release. Release and move wisely for the sake of the family. And that's really what the Divine Feminine has been doing. But we're doing it now from a raising our posture to a goddess level. And for the men are doing some soul searching and some review, some going through things, putting things together. It almost feels like computer activity that it's moving so fast to gain comprehension and understanding. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. But for the 10 of coins to be there, it's talking about, and it's upright. It's talking about connectivity of family. So just watch how you wield your emotions and watch how you deal with your triggers, and be very careful to try not to lash out at anyone, and especially anyone who is precious to you, even if like they are really working your nerves at that moment and you feel like they need to be told. Try to pull yourself in, balance it off with the 7D energy that's available today, which is that kind of that crown chakra wave. Find a balance between the two so you can pull yourself kind of together and your thoughts together before you speak on anything you feel you need to talk about. And it may not really be the time to speak. This is a time to clear. All right, y'all. Tuesday, we have 4D to 6D energies, and the Quantum Self-Care card is Think, Feel, Embody. It is the 22nd card, and that is with the last card in the Sacred Blooming Suit. So this is what, the whole point of the Sacred Blooming Suit. You go through all of that, and then you get to a point where you really start to pay attention to thought frequency, feeling, and what it manifests. And because things manifest so quickly, you can start to notice the synchronicities and micro manifestations taking place. You can notice things shifting into a certain position in accordance with your thoughts rather quickly now. So working with the Think, Feel, and Body, focus is really the move. 4D to 6D is dealing on Tuesday with more like social issues, and because we're still clearing, it's clearing, old social issues that affect the heart chakra, probably the back of the heart chakra, and perceptions surrounding it. So I think a lot of us are going to be seeking to look at things with more open minds and with less fear. And I'm going to pull a tarot. All right. 5 of Swords reverse and the Star. Beautiful, yo. Like, we're moving in a good direction, y'all. Despite appearances to the contrary. The 5 of Swords reverse comes up with the Star. And the 5 of Swords reverse is when you're not afraid anymore and you're not letting anxiety take hold. And that's in alignment with what I'm picking up here. I'm picking up like like being in the schoolyard and looking out at the other children and taking that first step, but not expecting rejection. Still being able to be just as shy as you might be, but not coming from a place of crippling fear, expecting rejection. So it looks like, that star energy being guided by your higher knowing, being guided by synchronicities, your spirit team, your soul family and soul tribe. Yeah, y'all. It's looking great. It's looking great. It really is looking great for the future, y'all. The 6D energy is perceptual, so you're going to be balancing what you need to work out in your heart chakra, just in terms of things that need to be healed, and bringing fresh energy into the areas that have been cleared out and are being cleared out with the higher timeline energy. All right. Okay, so the energies, is there anything else I'm picking up on Tuesday? Pitfall energy, if you stay focused kind of on the right track, the track in alignment with your heart, you're not really going to deal with pitfalls. And it feels like probably a lot of people are on that wave right now. A lot of people are just tired of fighting and placing their focus in the wrong place. I'm not picking up pitfall energy like I expected to. Yeah, and so I just, Spirit is just chiming in and saying, keep your head up, like keep your thoughts up. You're going to be straight. The think, feel, and body card suggests you are at a level of quantum embodiment where you can align your thoughts and go where you want to go, shift things away. You want to shift them in accordance with higher timelines and experience it. So it's probably just time to start working with this quantum machinery as it was intended to be worked with as sovereign beings. So Wednesday, 2D to 8D, I'm familiar with this timeline, jam. Or not really jam. This brings up 2D to 8D brings up like those intense vulnerability issues. It's also, I will have to say, and Spirit can correct me and interject if I'm not right, but like the Persephone Demeter story, like whenever the Empress card comes up reverse, like that's just where, it's really where my mind goes, because those are some of the issues that have been being broken. Some of those Pluto in Libra dynamics where people found themselves in relationships because they were like conned and manipulated into them, or there was this possession issues and obsession and what have you. And so these types of energies, whether they're playing out romantically or whether they're playing out in like work dynamics, wherever they're playing out, it's that I would rather be somewhere else energy, but something's got you trapped in the underworld. And you know what I'm saying, you gotta figure out why, and you gotta get some kind of contact with that, that higher mother energy to, for some help to get out of the bind, so to speak, if you're going by the mythology. So the 2D to 8D has been playing out, and these have been kind of heavy days with, worry and stress, and so in the same fear that's been used to control us. So when you get there, like just work on your inner child. Wednesday, I think there can be some things that try to come up that are a drag, that are heavy, that feel like obligations and burdens. Star Crown is coming up. It's a crown chakra card. It's the 29th card in the Sacred Garden suit. And, the 29 has some energies to it in general, just as a number in and of itself. It's got that lunar influence, and it's got that transformative 9, which can either be a really uncomfortable, fiery, passionate, in the right and wrong way experience. It can also be transformative, in the alchemical Phoenix Rising experience sense. So for it to have not fallen that way, but came into that position with the Star Crown card, really speaks a lot to me, because when you do transcend certain blocks, certain emotional traps, you can move up to that level of sovereignty where you're more in touch with, the star systems that you're in true alignment with. So this is another thing. And the 2D, 8D, like that's more, well, right now this would be like below to above, but this is like as above, so below energy. It's dealing with the axis of manifestation, the axis of emotion and earth. So these can be yin energies. And the way to deal with them on Wednesday, we have the 4 of Corns here, wanting to hold on to something, like something you're wanting to hold on to, and facing the prospect of having to let go, with the Wheel of Fortune being good fortune. So here on the higher side of things, people's savings, if you've been saving money, that can pay off for you. Where you've been wise can pay off for you during these cycles that have been whenever 2D to 8D days, or 8D to 2D days, and it was plenty for a while there. You could check back with other readings, past weeklies. there were weeklies where it came up a lot and it was heavy and it wasn't fun. But it does kind of feel like this feels like payout energy beginning, things beginning to look up in those areas. So again, I'm pleasantly surprised. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your whatever you've been working on that you've been working hard on. It looks like it's getting ready to pay off in certain types of ways. The Wheel of Fortune being there, and we are talking about new cycle energy and that, the different astral placement that came through when I did the Lionsgate, video. We're moving into different timelines, so it does look like there will be some indications there. There's going to be indications of the work that was spent and the positioning that was held, either along the lines of savings or what have you. In other areas, some crossroads situations can emerge for people where they kind of have to make quick decisions. So all together, just use your crown, use your personal genius, your connection to the above, rather than walk in fear energy on Wednesday. And things could work out. It's a great day for insights, faux show. Thursday we're dealing with 6D to 4D energy. And the card that comes up is I allow. It's the 10th card. Sorry, I'm trying to read my own writing. Accept the support extended to you. So it's like a humbling card. Chill with the pride or chill with the fear that if you let someone in, they're gonna play you. Type of, those types of energies can be addressed when this quantum root card comes up. The energies on Thursday are 6D to 4D. So you can definitely be dealing with that third eye. Energy, Syrian energy, indigo energy, certain levels of the astral, certain contacts with the Syrian star system and levels that have to deal with Sirius can definitely come through. And this 4D, so we're dealing with 4D, again, that socializing and that heart being part of the group, your role in the group and how you've, been received and what you've done with that. That those energies are coming around again, so you'll be dealing perceptually from that place, and it's looking like there's shift point energy for the 10 reader. All right, so I'm being instructed to shuffle once. Ace of Swords, all right, beautiful, and 9 of Cups reversed. Interesting. And 9 of Swords reversed. All right, so I think just a moment. So it's coming through that, like, from Spirit, that a weight is going to be lifted on Thursday. And it's Ace of Swords, which is, this like the solar, this illumination of mind, because swords are mental and they're of the air realm, or air element rather. I'm picking up still that insight energy, so it could be some spillover from Wednesday with that after, different crown activations and up-leveling. Different ways that you can approach matters, different ways that you can try to understand other people's position. Just a moment. It feels, because the 9 of Cups is reversed with the 9 of Swords reversed as accents, and really like what that's saying to me is you don't have to hold the bag of discontent or the nightmare and anxiety that comes with it, and somehow you're going to be realizing that. And so this can be a breakthrough that comes through Spirit just directly telling you, showing you, placing it in your dreams, opening up the door, giving you an opportunity. But there will be some inspiration, some clarity, and some straightforward energies in regards to some areas where you feel like your wishes haven't been fulfilled or they've been delayed, and there's been a great deal of anxiety surrounding them and even spiritual attack as you attempted to have them granted. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm picking up for Thursday. Watch out for con artist energy. I feel like they're out there. There's, they're the people, trying to be shifty in the wrong way. and play with these Neptune RX energies like they don't understand that Pluto is also retrograde, and at some point it's going to be time to pay the piper, and people have been getting caught left and right trying to be sneaky. And I think it's just not the season for that anymore. Like you got to stand in your own heart authenticity, and you're going to have those who are going to do their best to do that, and then you have those that just they're terrified because they're not accepting themselves and they're not seeking to do better and know themselves. And it's unfortunate, but then just the way this whole thing works, there are other ways that you wind up being reached, so to speak. And I'm talking universal you. I don't really think I'm talking to any of you out there with that, but yeah, I think Thursday, like a weight is, I agree, the energy feels like a weight's going to be lifted, but to be honest with you, the energies are a little hard to read, so there might be some much higher level energies coming in, because when I did kind of the original channelings, pick up intercessor energy and that sort of thing, like intermediaries coming in. So just allow, if you feel spirit pressing you, to allow them to assist. I would invite you to do so. The energies are there supporting it. On Friday, we're dealing with 7D to 9D energies. So again, like Monday's energy. And the quantum root card is Love is Waiting for You. It's the 20th card in the Sacred Blooming Suit. So this is you dealing with those levels of self that still need some reinforcement, before like the full bloom phase. So just going back in, which is what we've been doing, going back in and recalibrating different areas, fixing this area, adjusting this area, going to check this area. And that's really my understanding of how this timeline jumping has been assisting us and the purpose for it. So 70 to 90 energy, I think this is a day where holding your patience is going to be necessary. Just a moment. Let's see what the tarot tells us about why. Because I think there still are those energies in people trying to play you like you're less than you are. And what comes up? The Devil card. I really got to start putting these on videos so y'all can see, like video videos, so y'all can see these cards as they come out. Because that is what I felt. So watch out for tempters. Watch out for con artists. Watch out for anything trying to push you back into the trap, because it's like you're out of the trap. It's looking like for Friday, and something's trying to get you back in. That's how the energies, are lining up and feeling for me. So how is that done? By now we know, getting you to feel some level of shame, getting you to feel unworthy in some type of way. So triggering you to behave in a way that is, less than how you could be behaving. Causing conflict between you and a loved one, and then feelings of guilt and disconnection and alienation from a soul tribe or soul family member. These are the ways this game is played from those that want to keep people in a trap so they can keep juicing them for energy. So you see Three of Cups reversed. This can have to do with third-party situations as well. But I mean, really, that energy is a third-party situation. It's something that comes up in between you and your unification of your inner divine feminine and masculine energies, the harmony point. So the Three of Cups being reversed, the energy I'm getting with that is like things are good, and then here's some nonsense that shows up. So just remember, love is waiting for you, and focus on the love aspect and the real love that's there for you. Feed your heart and really ignore lower vibrational energies, or because whenever it tries to start on you, these sorts of I'm trying to use words carefully, but these sorts of gut checks, attacks, whatever, look for opportune times to do it. So if you keep your vibes very high, it is not easy at all for anything that is ill-intentioned to come at you. You're probably going to sense it, and it's going to be obvious at this point, and you'll be shielded up, so there's no vulnerable area to hit because you're in higher vibrational energies. So you have like that natural shielding of like being secure within yourself. All right. So remember that that's That's the solution energy to deal with, is the quantum root energy of love is waiting for you. So, in that moment that something might be able to get you stuck and almost pull you in, let that, hey, love is waiting for you. Don't get caught up with this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Moving on to Saturday. Oh, y'all. I'm so psyched. Saturday is 12D. I think I did forget. Saturday is 12D to 4D. I love 12D energy. There's like fairy energy at 12D. Spirit resilient God energy as well. And another thing that Spirit said during my original, during original channelings with this is something about that's where you can create, like you can like dream freely, you can dream at will. I'm paraphrasing like at this point. And it's amazing how this is turning out. 12D to 4D, so that same area that's been worked on this week, on Tuesday and on Thursday, where we're dealing with these areas of social placement, social inclusion, the part you hold in the group, your heart healing, your heart presence, which is very much in alignment with your purpose. But of course the purpose, that you make for yourself, because you're in alignment with authentic will. Your true path is bliss is the card that comes up for that. And the energies I'm getting on Saturday, I'm going to do the tarot really quick because we're about 46 minutes in. The, uncanny. 8 of Staffs, things right on course. This is clearly, and it's the 8 of Staffs, and the quantum root card is the 8th card. And it's your true path is bliss. And when we talk about 8 of Staffs, we are talking about something being on course, but on, like, it's going to meet its mark. This is so fly, like the way it's lining up. This is a good day for the way the energy feels. For some of you, your ship's coming in. I feel like Spirit is relaying that. Okay, so I'm being given the word quantum clarity. So rock that out. I would definitely be journaling, taking notes, making art, getting into your meditations, loving, just reveling in it, because that 12D energy is no joke, y'all. No joke. It's beautiful. And it's working with the heart energy and the path energy, our bliss path energy, and the 8 of Staffs, which is being on course. This is extremely good news, but this is what we've been told. Like when, going into the readings, it's always coming up like, please look away from the illusion, because Spirit is working behind the scenes. And as bad as it can look on certain days, we're getting where we're going, y'all. We are. It's a process. So yeah, things are feeling right on Saturday. You can better execute plans is coming through Spirit. Good luck. There'll be good luck in the air. High vibrational romantic connections can take place. Follow your heart on that. But of course be aware if someone's like pulling you by the gut. Like if you feel an unhealthy feeling in your gut, then just be careful that someone's not trying to attach some sort of cord to you. That's a different story. And that's like the Spirit is channeling that. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. So it's looking like, Saturday is amazing. And Sunday, 7D to 6D energy. It's do what is good for you. Okay, yeah, the 9th card, just like the week. So 7D to 9D energy is saying, 7 to 6D energy. And the 9 is do what is good for you, like the week's energy. But it's 7 to 6D for Sunday. Energy for Sunday it feels like a new track being established, and I believe that's September 1st, right? Um, Feels like a new track being established. But like it's a little more systemized and a little more easy to follow, if slightly disorienting here and there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull tarot and see. I'm being advised to shuffle once. The Hermit. Okay. All right. Do what is good for you. Go within. That 7D energy a lot of times is talking about crown chakra activity, work, activations, channelings. And for the Hermit to be there, it sounds like this is a day that it can be a good opening day. You can really commune with spirit. You know, with strong resonance. I think, even some of you who may not have been dealing clairaudiently will probably hear spirit on this day if you attempt to go in and make contact. And it's on a higher vibrational level, so just keep your vibes up. Stay in that high vibe wave this week, and you're goody. But I think it's going to be easier for people than it might seem at times. 70 to 60, I'm sorry, it's just, yeah, insight. I mean, I'm just getting insights. You can go in search of certain information and receive it on this day. Pull an accent. And the King of Cups. Yeah, I mean, this is all about inner space, mastery of emotion, mastery of astral levels, mastery of, emotional patterns, getting into flow. Sunday's energy, I think, can be like just really inspirational on a quantum level. So, yeah, get on that meditation, get on that inner space, go within, very, very, very healthy, and do what is good for you. Get into that alignment. You can even make it into a mantra if you feel motivated to do so. If that resonates, you can say, "I do what is good for me," and kind of repeat that back to yourself to get into the frequency of it, and then the feeling, and then the embodiment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sunday, is there any advice from Spirit for Sunday? So Spirit is saying a lot of work is being done behind the scenes. So if you stay in the right vibes, if you stay on a higher vibe level, like Spirit can do its work, and you'll find that it's a lot easier to just kind of flow. Like you'll find your way to get where you're going. So I think by Sunday, so Spirit is counseling, it's more of a rest day. All right, y'all. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have not completed my coffee yet, so I do apologize for sounding drowsy, but I appreciate you. And peace and blessings on your ascension journey, and we will return with more insights, as there will be a lot of meditating going on. All right, keep your heads up this week. Stay in the flow.